Hey everybody, it's Spencer Kyte for Keyboard Kimura, the official MMA blog of the province. Hanging out with Lucas J. Dog, back with another installment of the UFC prediction video series, taking a look at the co-main and main event of this weekend's two UFC fight cards. The first one takes place in Auckland, New Zealand and is available exclusively on UFC Fight Pass. Co-main event is a heavyweight tilt between Soa Palele and Jared Rosholt. I favor the collegiate wrestler Rosholt in this one, as much as Soa has shown a lot of power over his last few fights, and his ability to get 3 wins coming back to the UFC after a long hiatus. I think Rosholt's able to take him to the ground and grind out a victory in this one. In the main event, we have Nate Marquardt returning to the middleweight division and James Tahuna dropping to the middleweight division for the first time in a battle of two guys coming off some bad losses, very much in need of victories. I favor Tahuna in this one, even though he's probably a slight underdog and doesn't have the experience that Marquardt has. I think we've seen his chin hold up a little more than Marquardt over his last few fights, although that's saying something considering Tahuna's coming off a knockout loss to Shogun Rua. But I think the drop in division really helps him. He has good power in his hands. He is a durable, gritty guy that fights with a lot of heart, and I think he's able to put the pressure on Marquardt and get the finish to thrill the Auckland fans, with a hometown fighter coming away with a victory in the main event. The second show takes place in San Antonio at a normal time for fight fans here on the West Coast, as opposed to the first show that kicks off at 11:30 p.m. on Friday evening as far as the prelims go. Co-main event features former TUF winner Kelvin Gastelum taking on Nico Masoki of Sweden. I really like Gastelum, super high on this kid as a prospect, only 22 years old, already has 3 wins in the UFC. We saw it on TUF that he was a diamond in the rough and that he had that upside and the potential to be something great. He's rounding into that form. He's already coming off a victory over Rick Story, a TUF veteran, already cracked the top 15 in the UFC welterweight rankings, and I think he continues to roll, gets another stoppage win here against Masoki. The main event of this one is a featherweight title eliminator between Cub Swanson and Jeremy Stephens, who has looked phenomenal since moving down to featherweight. Has gone 3-0, most recently defeating Darren Elkins. But I'm a big Cub Swanson believer. I think he's figured out what had him showing inconsistency through his days in the WEC. He's put it all together nicely over a 5-fight winning streak. Even though he's coming off a long layoff, I think Swanson gets in there, shows everybody his elite boxing skills, shows everybody the finishing power and creativity that we've seen in victories over Dennis Seaver, Charles Oliveira, and Ross Pearson in the past. Puts it together nicely, gets himself a 6th straight victory over Stephens, and punches his ticket to a UFC title shot in the future. As always, guys, we've got your Punch Drunk predictions for both shows right below this video. Myself and Patrick Sviklinski will be back all weekend with coverage and analysis of the two events. And as always, stay tuned to Keyboard Kimura and the province for all your UFC news and information.